What's happening, sports fans? Welcome to the playoffs. I guess the playoffs have been going for a little bit now. I do want to give a quick shout out before we get going any further to the championships that happened this weekend with girls tennis. The team tennis championships all being decided. Canyon Crest retains their open division championship run. We're going to get, though, to football championships on this video. Before we get there, though, let's do a quick word from our sponsors, the U.S. Army. Thanks again to the U.S. Army for their support. Tommy Morris, Bodie DeSilva, they are joining us to talk about the Division III CIF San Diego section high school football playoffs. Tommy Morris is going to be silent on, not this one, on the next one.
No, I'm good on this one. Yeah.
University City, they are the number 1 seed. They are moving on. Point Loma, great story there, is the number 2 seed. Del Norte is the 3. Bishops is the 4. Those 4 teams on to the next podcast already. We will not necessarily be talking about them this week. This is the rest of the field. And guys, some brand name teams here. We got some recent champions. We've got some upstart newcomers to the successful lanes. We got a lot of good football to talk about. First one is the number 8 Rancho Buena Vista Longhorns hosting the number 9 Santana Sultans. RBV early in the year came out swinging hard and seemed like they might have started to run out of gas a little bit later in the season. But that being said, they have a bunch of guys who we know can score in a bunch of different ways. And I think I've said it on previous podcasts, like when you get to the playoffs, it shrinks the sample size down, that you really only need to have a couple of good games or a couple of big plays and you can make something happen. So they seem like a lethal playoff team. Can Santana get it done on the road, or is this an RBV Longhorns win? Bodie DeSilva, let's start with you.
Yeah, I want to go with RBV here, and I think I will. I just have some concern that they did end the year with 5 straight losses. They came into the year, I think, as one of the favorites in that league. But just weren't all that competitive. Only one of those losses was there within single digits. So I am interested to see how they respond, but I think this is the time where playoffs come around and change some things around. And we know they have playmakers at quarterback and running back. So when you have that, it's a lot easier of a game there. So I think they'll hold their own here at home against Santana in round 1.
Tommy Morris, your thoughts?
Yeah, very weird season for RBV. I mean, we were almost talking about them being potentially a top 10 team after 5 weeks, and then all of a sudden they kind of fell off. But I do like Underhill. I like Trapasso. I think that they fix it for the playoffs, and I think a very dangerous team in Division III will be RBV.
The number 5 Imperial Tigers are playing host to the number 12 Patrick Henry Patriots. The Patriots, the Division IV champions from last year. They are going to be tasked, though, with a big road game here. This seems like Imperial, both in terms of the home game status and just the numbers, how they played out this season, would be the favorite. Bodie, am I reading that wrong?
Yeah, it's just interesting the way with all the seedings. Patrick Henry's 2-7, Imperial 7-3. But I think this is a much closer game than what you would expect with a 5-win differential between these two teams.
Tommy Morris, your thoughts?
Yeah, I like Imperial in this one. I mean, as a team, they rushed for 1,200 yards. You know, they passing 1,100 yards, so they're pretty even balanced as far as offense is concerned. Patrick Henry coming off of not a great performance against University City. Hopefully they figured some stuff out in between now and then, but that is not a very encouraging sign. But like Bodie said, I mean, that 3-7 could easily be 5-5 for Patrick Henry. It's not like they were getting blown out. They had a lot of close losses. I do like Imperial here. Again, I have not physically seen them since before the season started when they were down in San Diego County for the scrimmages, but I like what Imperial's got going on in the desert.
One thing to add with Imperial, keep an eye out for freshman running back Rashad Robinson, the younger brother of Roger.
Oh, it sounds like he might know somebody who's good at football also.
The younger brother, is that what you said?
Correct.
Yes.
Freshman at Imperial. That's where Rod was originally too.
So Rod would have been a freshman at Imperial the year before the pandemic, year of the 2020. What year was he? Did he actually run the ball there?
I will get on some math for you here.
Deal.
I'll check it.
Let's figure that out. My mind is just being blown right now about that. I apologize for not knowing that. Number 6, San Pasquale hosts number 11, West Hills. San Pasquale seems like every year the question comes down to, do they have one specific playmaker in that backfield that they can rely on in the big time moments? Or are they just good up front at moving people around and creating holes? This year, it seems like they have a guy or two that can, move through those holes with some dynamic decision-making skills, break some big runs. I think they're proof that this doesn't have to be a favorite coming out of the 1 through 4 to win this. West Hills, San Pasquale, Bodie DeSilva, your thoughts?
As I'm doing multiple things, I'll go back here.
I didn't know if you were actually doing that with.
Yeah, no, I'm good with answering this. With San Pasquale, I've been super impressed in league play. Going into it, I didn't give them a huge chance to go and win that league, and what they've done now, 4 wins in a row there. They started off league with a loss to Valley Center there, and then a loss to San Marcos, but ever since, I mean, not just offensively, but I mean, in those final 4 games, they allowed only 13 points total. I think this San Pasquale teams were getting really dangerous at the right time. I know they played Del Norte early on in the year, and that would be a potential matchup second round, but I like San Pasquale to win this one, and I certainly would give them a chance in the second round, the way they're playing. I think they found something at the right time, both offensively and defensively.
Tommy Morris, I want to go to you unless you are in need of more filibustering time to look up Roderick Robinson.
I couldn't find it, to be honest with you. I couldn't find it. But anyway, I know it's his brother. But anyway, I also like San Pasquale here. I know Andrew Clark kept all the receipts from the beginning of the year, being picked 5th in league and all that kind of stuff. And I'm sure he was excited with the way the season turned out. So congrats to the San Pasquale team. I think, again, this might be one of those where we look back and I mean, we should have seen this coming. San Pasquale, I think, can win this whole thing if they play their game and all the way through the playoffs, they can win the whole thing. So I like San Pasquale, not only here, but potentially make a long run.
Moving on to the final game of this bracket, number 7, El Cap plays host to number 10, Morris. Bodie DeSilva from Scorebook Live. Your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, Morse was playing really well in the beginning of the year. I think that's dropped off a little bit. We know they still have some playmakers there, certainly at running back and receiver. But I like what El Capitan has done. I think they've shown that defensively they can really hold their own against anyone. Coming in at 8-2, undefeated in league, those things matter a lot. They're at the end, they posted 3 shutouts, in league play, Santana, Monte Vista, and Valhalla. And I think the way they're playing right now, I like El Cap to win this one. I don't know if I'd pick them against Point Loma, but I think that would certainly be a very good game round 2.
Tommy Morris, your thoughts?
I think an upset happens here. Morris, kind of like Buddy was saying, they're playing well in the beginning of the year, then they kind of slow down a little bit, but I think they get a little more rejuvenated going into playoffs. Kind of a long drive. I know we've discussed that a little bit, but I do like Morris has a couple of playmakers that I don't think anyone at El Cap can handle as far as on Morris's offense and El Cap's defense. So I like Morris in this one, but I think it'll be very close. I'm thinking like a 21-14 type game, but it'll be a good one.
There you have it, everybody. That's the Division 3 brackets. Make sure if you want to follow along for more, you download the SB Live Sports app and go check out all our other videos.